to another episode of Wrestling with WorldWide Willis. And I am Brandon. I am your host. And this podcast is brought to you by the LMG Podcast Network. Apologies for the voice. I'm having some allergy issues. So today I'm gonna say like a pastor. I'm not gonna keep you too long, but I do want to touch on some of the latest stuff going on this week. So now let's talk about what matches of the week. So far, I really enjoyed the American Made six-man tag match between American Made versus the Wyatt family, the Wyatt Six. I'm sorry. Um, I enjoyed that one. I didn't think I would, to be honest. But I think it was cool seeing the Wyatt Six first match. You know what I mean? To see them come out, see them like kind of wrestle normal. I wasn't quite sure presentation wise how they were gonna work. I didn't know if they were gonna make it to where they were like you know, like unbeatable. They don't take damage or they're not even human. Like I didn't know how far they were gonna go into the whole like spooky, character. But I thought they did the right thing. They made it pretty normal. Once they took the mask off, it was time for a fight. And it felt like a normal match. The crowd was really into it. It was great to see Rowan. It was great to see a lot of these guys who are really like the Y6, like they have some really good wrestlers. So they just haven't been highlighted as much in some of their other roles. Other than Rowan, Rowan had a great run um, in the early in 2010s with Bray and the Wyatt family. But yeah, I just really enjoyed that match way more than I thought I would. And I thought American Made looked good for the most part. But I'm glad Y6 got the win. The Brody Lee kind of tribute was dope that Rowan did. And yeah, I just thought that was a fun match. It was better than I expected. Um, but also, this latest episode of SmackDown, we had Andrade versus Santos Escobar for the number one contender for the U.S. Championship. I enjoyed that one, man. You could tell these guys have wrestled before. You can tell they've been in the same ring before. They had really good chemistry. I'm really high on Andrade. You know me, I'm high on Santos. But ever since Andrade got here, it's like, man, both these guys can be stars. Really, they got everything you need: the look, wrestling style. Santos is better on the mic, but uh, Andrade just has an aura about him that you can't deny. Right? He's an impressive looking dude. He has a great wrestling style. He can wrestle with the big fellas. He can wrestle with the small guys. He can move. You know what I mean? So yeah, Andrade just looked the part. In this one, it was a really good match. Carmelo Hayes ended up getting involved and helping Santos get the win. It's kind of a random interference, but and I didn't necessarily love the overall finish of Carmelo just moving Santos out the way and Andrade not adjusting to that and hitting himself on the side side turnbuckle and then losing. I didn't love that. I thought there could have been more definitive win. However, I did enjoy the overall match. From start to probably right before the finish, it was a pretty good match. So those guys did a really good job. Also, I enjoyed the Street Profits versus um, A Town Under. I forgot. I think that's their name. Um, and so I really enjoyed that one. I'm really glad to see the Street Profits get to lean back into being the Street Profits. Like if they're not going to go the ISO route with Ford, it's kind of like, hey man, why are we messing up a great tag team if we're not even going to mess it up to do something big with the solo run for these guys? Let's just keep it together and have them do some big things, especially since now you know what I mean. Bobby Lashley's probably not with the company anymore, most likely. That whole whatever fake hurt business thing they were doing was awful. Move on, and just have Street Profits really contending for titles because Street Profits, man, underrated. Like Street Profits have had some legendary, classic tag team matches. I remember the one against the Usos. I want to say it was SummerSlam, maybe 2021. They millions of classic ones in NXT. They had some great matches. So they know how to put on a great show, put on a great match. They just haven't been highlighted as much lately. So I'm excited to see what they can do moving forward. All right, let's get into it. Uh, so we all know who's back. Roman Reigns, the OTC. I don't love the OTC thing. I liked it at first, but now if we're just running with it, if we're putting it on his like on the stanchion when he walks out, I don't know. I don't love that. Maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know, but like if we're just overly pushing the OTC thing, like let it come natural. We don't need to push it over and over and over. Like let it come natural, right? The fans will let you know if it's cool or not. Oh, WWE shouldn't just decide the OTC is cool. Um, but Roman is back, man. We got to see Roman pop up, take out the bloodline. Um, obviously babyface now. I mean, he hasn't said a word, but man, his energy has been a welcome sight back to the Friday nights, and you know him versus this new bloodline is, I think, is going to be a really cool storyline. I'm hoping they make really good decisions because you kind of got to be careful. Yeah, Roman is super over, but right now he's super over because I mean he's Roman, like his greatness, but also we haven't seen him in a while. So once that wears off, we now need you got to build it right. Can't just have him doing corny stuff. Like you got to have him doing some cool stuff coming out and just keeping that momentum. You know what I mean? Because some people are going to be little worried about a babyface Roman again. But if you can really make this, I think right now the one thing I will say, Roman is Roman as the tribal chief character has been all natural for him. Like he hasn't had to force anything, and that's why it's worked so well. Just because that's him naturally. So him being a baby face version of this, I think he can just be a natural person, like be himself. He's gonna still be cocky. He's gonna still, act like the boss of things, but he might do it in a more babyface way instead of a heel or cheating in matches and things of that nature. So I'm excited for this run. I do think, I'm hoping they push this towards Blab. I don't know if it'll be on Bad Blood or Bash in Berlin. I'm kind of interested if they'll just skip those two and just have this rivalry continue to the next big pay per view, maybe Survivor Series. Like continue this heat, build it up to a Survivor Series, and then obviously you can have Bloodline versus Bloodline, and it sounded like we're going that route because we have Sami Zayn and Jay Uso kind of teaming up, talking about tag teaming again. You know what I mean? They obviously originate from the Bloodline, them two trying to go get the Monday Night tag titles. So it's interesting how they're kind of doing a little bit of like building from two different areas to all meet in one place. So I'm cool with that. I like that. But yeah, Roman, amazing. The music sounds good. The look, obviously. Yeah, it's been great so far. They haven't overextended him, overexposed him, or anything. His pop coming back at SummerSlam was one of the biggest pops ever. And yeah, man, I'm just hoping that they continue to. They don't. Hopefully, they don't get lazy. And I don't think Triple H will, but hopefully they just don't get lazy and think, okay, Roman's there, so all problems are fixed, or it'll take care of itself. I hope they just hope they understand that like you can't just you got to put Roman is still in a position to succeed. You can't just think he's Roman. All these years he's been killing it. He'll kill it this way. No, you need to make sure a babyface Roman is supported and is in put in good positions to look good and be cool. Um, Next we have Gunther versus Randy Orton. So Gunther came out, you know what I mean? He's the new world heavyweight champ. He beat Damian Priest, and he's basically saying, "Who wants it? Who wants to challenge me?" And Randy Orton comes out, a great opponent. Couldn't have picked a better opponent, honestly. And Randy lets him know, like, "Hey, I'm coming for your belt." He wants to be a 15-time champion. I think he's either 15, 14 or 15. I want to say he's 14 and wants to be 15 after he tries to win this belt. But so we had two good Raws with kind of building this rivalry, and the promos have been really good. I thought the promo on this latest Monday was good. I kind of wish Gunther went a little deeper, but he kind of hit on something as far as Randy being one of the greats, but not the greatest. Even though Randy, by all accounts, is the most talented wrestler to ever step in a ring. Like gifted physically, had all the tools, had the look, had the mic skills, all that. You know what I mean? Was excuse me, was partnered with some of the goats to help him ascend when he was younger. Ric Flair, Triple H, you know what I mean? And so he's kind of always been able to go back and lean on some greats to not hold him up, but before he could take it on himself, he was supported by the Evolution and others, and and so I thought Gunther hit on some stuff that was really good. He hit on his dad he hit on basically Randy not hitting his full potential because he's a screw up. He talked about how Randy's grandpa's a screw up, and now this is hitting home because Randy's comes from a wrestling lineage. Randy's father is a Hall of Fame level wrestler. His grandpa was a wrestler, right? So we know Randy's family. This isn't like he's talking about people off screen who we have no clue who they are. He's talking about people who have been in the wrestling business. And so for Gunther to address them, both his dad and his grandpa screw ups, that's when Randy got really pissed off. And I thought it hit like I think Gunther, man, I think low key Gunther is one of the best in WWE on the mic. Like his mic work is top tier. What he did, I think he's part of the reason Damian Priest is so over is because of his mic work, because of Gunther's mic work. Gunther made it personal. Gunther made the crowd hate him, made the crowd despise him, and they rooted then on even more for Gunther's opponent. And so that's what's helped Damian continue to rise as far as crowd, babyface crowd reactions. Randy doesn't really need that, obviously, but this helps. This adds more intensity to the match rather than it just being a intense two greats going against each other for a title. Now it can be even more than a title. It's personal, and I feel like Gunther in this latest promo made it personal. And I thought he did a great job. Gunther's just been top tier on the microphone, man. And we got to see that Randy caught him. I was hoping. The only thing I didn't like was Randy hit Gunther with an RKO. Now, I get it. He usually does that, catch people off guard. But I feel like this one should have been. He shouldn't have been able to get that RKO off, right? Because Gunther literally said, I'm always expecting the unexpected. I'm always on one step ahead. And I feel like Gunther should have had a move, a submission, or something right in the bag to where if Randy tries to hit a RKO out of nowhere and they're in street clothes or they're on a promo, Gunther can get into it, hit him with it, and the crowd be like, "Oh snap!" Like the crowd is expecting an RKO there. To me, I would have tried to swerve the crowd and think you're getting the RKO. Nope. Like push the RKO. Basically, I want Gunther to reverse the RKO literally every time. That way, when we get to the match and he actually hits it, it means more. It means something, right? We don't want the RKO to die or become this like I love the Stone Cold Stunner, but Stone Cold did it every week. So it kind of lost some of its shine as far as wrestling moves. Culturally, yeah, we all love the Stone Cold Stunner. But like in a match, you weren't like, oh my God, he hit him with a stunner. He was just like, oh, he hit him with a stunner. Like if I was them, I would have been like, hey, Gunther, Randy, Randy, I want you to hit him try to hit him with an RKO because you're pissed in this promo. And Gunther, I want you to reverse it. And then I want him to continue till we get to Bash of Berlin. Continue trying to catch Gunther off guard with the RKO, and it goes unsuccessfully. And then that way, when we get in Germany, when we get in Berlin, and if he does hit it, we all go, "Oh snap! Is it over?" Right? Because we haven't exposed the RKO, overexposed it. We've held it for a special moment to where it meant something. Now I feel like that was the only bad part of this promo is you hit him with it, and it's like, okay, now okay, cool, but does it really mean anything? No, because they're gonna meet up again in the next couple of weeks during a promo or whatever. Probably fight, but RKO may get hit again. You know what I mean? Just it's stuff that just doesn't mean that much. Or I would have tried to push, try to build the RKO suspense more, essentially. But I do think this potentially could be the match of the night at Bash of Merlin. Seriously, I think um, Randy and they had a really good match at King of the Ring. I think this can be even better for even higher stakes. And we got a crowd. Excuse me. We got a crowd component now in Berlin. Home crowd for Gunther. So it's going to be a weird dynamic where they're rooting for Gunther, but I don't think they're going to be booing Randy, but also who knows, right? That's the guy going against your hero. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this match. When I saw Randy's music hit when Gunther was in the ring last Monday before last, I was like, oh snap, we're getting it again. I'm excited for that because that was a really good match at King of the Ring. Um, Next we have, I want to talk about Bronson Reed, man. Bronson Reed has been killing it. I've been arguing with some of my friends. Roy, I'm gonna shout you out here. You've been hating on my boy Bronson. My boy Bronson been killing it, man. That spot with that, like the whole talk to the manager blows you off, gives you no attention, acts like you're not there, don't exist, and then you're like, okay, I got to do something to make me get his attention. And then he goes out there and takes out one of the top guys in Seth Rollins. I mean, just smashed him, bro. What did he hit him with? Six splashes off the top rope. That was amazing. The visual was amazing. The visual of Brunson going up there. You got 8, 6, 7, 8 people hovering over Seth, and as soon as Brunson jumps off that top rope, they all scatter, and then Brunson hits him hits Seth with the splash. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff, man. Like the crowd was getting into it. The crowd likes Seth, but they just were getting into it, right? You can't help it because it was a level of savagery. It was a level of yeah, it's just you just don't see that. You don't see people doing stuff again and again and again. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, this dude is really out here to make a point. You know, a lot of dudes come out there, hit him, catch him off guard, hit him with one little splash and leave. But no, hit him with six. That was crazy. And Bronson Reed is not a little guy. He has one of the, and I was telling my friends this. You see how impactful a Bronson Reed splash is? To me, the only people who should be doing off the top rope splash like that is big guys like Bronson Reed. Jay Uso, I don't want to see one of the Usos. I don't want to see a splash finish a match. To be honest, you guys are 220 at best, right? Maybe 215 at best. What's that splash gonna do? If I see that splash and then I turn around and go see Bronson Reed do a splash off the top ropes, I am no longer impressed with the Usos splash. So to me, only big guys should be doing that, especially as a finisher. And so and the Usos kind of went away from that. They kind of went more the spear or whatever. But yeah, I thought Bronson Reed this past week, him going against the Miz. I love how they set it up to where, you know, uh, Miz thought he was getting an intercontinental title match against Braun Breaker, and R-Truth, he lets R-Truth go, settle the matters um, with Adam Pearce, and then he finds himself in a match with Bronson Reed. And it was funny, to see that and see Randy and R-Truth be like, nah, he ain't got it. Like, it's going to get ugly for that man. And they actually fought back pretty well, but obviously Bronson Reed won the match. And then Bronson started going into his savagery bag, which I love, right? Hits him with a couple. Then R2 tries to get involved. Boom, hits him. Start jumping on him a bunch of times. And like you feel bad for the person, but you also are like, man, this is dope. You know what I mean? This is catching steam. This is a natural. They did not expect this what he did to Seth to start momentum for Brunson. I'm sure they thought it'd be a cool little thing. Cool, put him in a program with Seth maybe down the line. So it'd be a cool little thing. I don't think they expected it to be like a viral moment and a moment to really create a potential star with Bronson Reed. I don't think they thought. I'm pretty sure they were like, best case scenario, cool. We get a program with a top guy, maybe help Bronson Reed out a little bit. But I don't think they thought, oh, this is going to really create a credible amount of momentum for Bronson Reed. To the point to where it's like, dude is cooking, man. Dude is cooking out, and some people say he's boring. That's fine. His job isn't to be a top tier personality. His job is to destroy people, and if he keeps doing that, I don't care if he speaks. I don't care, or if he has a gimmick or any of that stuff. Just keep destroying people, and that way, when you get to the point to where maybe it's him and Gunther, or him and another big guy on Raw, that'll be really fun. So shout out to Bronson Reed, really killing it. Um, then we have um, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is basically looking for a competitor for the Universal World Championship uh, at Bash of Berlin, and he offers the spot to Kevin Owens. Now, I love this because I feel like this is more Kevin Owens' way of thinking. Kevin Owens understands that, hey, I haven't really earned this. And like as far as like wins and losses, I'm not on like some win streak to where I've been cutting down top contenders to on my way to a title match. He hasn't. So I think it was cool to see Kevin Owens go, nah, like I don't deserve it. But then hearing about Roman potentially getting a rematch, he was like, whoa, 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 I don't necessarily deserve it, but Roman damn sure don't deserve it. Compared, yeah, he has a rematch clause, but who's used that for in a long time? And like the damage he caused as the tribal chief, Kevin Owens is basically saying that rematch clause should be null and void due to the damage, the treachery, the cheating, all that stuff he's caused to the roster, to the belt, all that stuff. And so KO is saying like, yeah, I don't know if I deserve it, but I'm not gonna let him get that spot because that looks even worse for my locker room and the people, me being a leader and a vet and all that stuff. So I think Kevin Owens, Cody, I don't really care how we get it, but when they get in that ring, it's going to be a great match. I'm very confident in that. Kevin Owens could freaking wrestle a broom. It's going to be a great match. I've said the same thing about Seth. Said the same thing about Gunther. A lot of these guys, man, they just know how to hit you at a certain volume. They know exactly pinpoints to hit to make a great match. Cody, I think, is up there too. I don't know if Cody has quite the stylistic pizzazz to make it a great match. He kind of has to have a really good partner, but when he does, AJ Styles, for example, many others, for example, it becomes a great match. So having these two get together, man, it's gonna be great. It really is. It's gonna be fun to watch those guys go at it. And again, Bash of Berlin. You got Gunther versus Randy. You got KO versus Cody Rhodes. Those are going to be really good matches. Really good matches. And just a fight and a really technically sound fight. And so I'm excited for that. And I like the way they did that because Kevin Owens wouldn't just be like, "Oh, I got a title. I got a title shot. Okay, cool. I don't need an explanation." Like he's always the guy to ask why, to kind of basically Kevin Owens is always thinking from a like internet wrestling point of view. Basically, he's because if he would have been like, yeah, sure, I'll take the title match, and that was it, people on Twitter would have been like, how the hell does Kevin Owens? Why the hell does Kevin Owens get a match? You know what I mean? But Kevin Owens getting out in front of that, asked the question himself, and says like, why do I deserve it? Like, I haven't done anything remarkable lately. So that's really cool. I like that. That's smart stuff. Vince would have never. Vince would have gave it to Kevin and not thought twice about it. Like he'd been like, "Who cares? The fans don't." Vince would have been like, "Who cares? Fans don't keep up with that stuff. Who cares?" You know what I mean? When it's the actual opposite. So, um, then we have. Uh, I'm interested in this New Day storyline. I'm interested in this Odyssey Jones joining the New Day potentially. And possibly replacing Big E. I'm interested in this because I think what um, Austin Cruz. Um, I think what he's doing is really good work acting wise and making us intrigued. Like I remember seeing first on Twitter, like seeing his reaction to Odyssey Jones and how Kofi was excited for Odyssey to be around. Well, Austin was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what when like your friend brings the a new guy around the crew, and you're like, bro, this is just the crew. Like, what? Why would you bring somebody else in this? You know what I mean? This is kind of a sacred circle we have. Why are we bringing anyone else in? And so I love what they're doing there, and I'm interested to see how they make that work. I will say Odyssey Jones, I think it's a great pick. Like usually when they try to replace people, it's usually really bad. Like it usually doesn't go well, and they pick somebody who doesn't fit the mold at all. Now, sure, is Odyssey Jones black? Yes. Like we totally understand. We totally understand like the visual nature of it, where like you're adding a black guy and a black faction and replacing another black wrestler. We get that. But as far as like personality, Odyssey Jones has a great personality. I think he's going to be beloved by the fans eventually. But I do like the fact that they're addressing, there may be some hesitancy to replace Big E like that, like not to just throw Big E out there. We've all been rooting for Big E. We've all been like, ever since he broke his neck, like, man, is he coming back? When is he coming back? How was his status? Blah blah blah. Is he healthy? Is he doing all right? And unfortunately, we've gotten updates from Big E. He said, like, I feel fine. Everything's going well. However, for me this one portion that's preventing me from getting in the ring and wrestling again is still a problem. And so we still don't know like if that'll get better over the years. We're not quite sure, but it's been a while. It's been a couple years now, so I can see why them trying to move on a little bit, get some momentum again behind the New Day is a smart move. But again, I think it's realistic. See, and this is what I love about what Triple H is doing. Triple H is he takes the mindset of all characters, from all characters' point of view. Vince McMahon would have shoved Odyssey Jones in there, force fed it down our throat, and made it to where Kofi and Austin Cruz were cool with it and were rolling. And everybody would have been and the crowd would have been like, really? Like, we just gonna move on from Big E like that? Damn, not even address him. Where Triple H is going, wait, hold on. If a new friend got added to my friend group who I had no say about, I feel some type of way about it, you know. And I wouldn't necessarily just give him the strongest handshake in the world. I wouldn't necessarily give him the strongest dap. I'd be hesitant, And me and my real homie, me and Kofi would have to have a conversation like, hey man, what are you doing? So I really love that they're doing that. This is an interesting storyline based off of that alone. The New Testament, who cares? Like, who really cares? They're just there to kind of be an opponent for this while the New Day figures out this new storyline. But man, I am excited to see how this goes. Whether it's Austin Cruz's turn, whether they eventually figure it out. There's some trials and tribulations along the way while figuring it out. I'm hoping that's the route. I'm hoping they end up becoming the New Day, but it's a long road to get there, and it's Odyssey trying to win over Austin Cruz, sort of like Sammy trying to win over Jay Uso in the Bloodline, essentially, you know. And I'm hoping Big E gives him his blessing. You know what I mean? That would be fire. Like at a pay per view event, they're in a 6-man tag match against the New Testament or somebody, and we don't know. And then Big E finally gives his green light of approval, and the crowd goes nuts. That would be great. That'd be really good. So I'm excited for that. Lastly, let's talk about the women's tag championships. I have a feeling, and this is I haven't checked Twitter for this. I haven't done it. It's just in my head. I was like, you know, the unholy union, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, if done correctly, they could be the greatest women's tag champions ever. Like I think if done correctly, those two have the talent, the chemistry, the name, the look, the entrance, all that to be the greatest women's tag champions ever. Now, the only tag team I think have they need to reach for is the goal to surpass is Sasha and Bailey. Sasha and Bailey are the greatest women's tag team champions of all time. It's not even close right now. Just because, first of all, those two were so great. Secondly, the other tag teams haven't been so great. But I think if and they have it, and they've been doing mixed matching people in the tag team, women's tag team division for years now. Unholy Union makes perfect sense as far as the tag team is concerned. Like they're those two storylines, those two's backgrounds, those two's gimmicks work perfectly. Unholy Union, perfect. So I'm thinking, man, if they should go on like a year, 2 year run, like have it to where Unholy Union is damn near unbeatable. Like, yeah, they have great, like, have them have great matches with Kairi Sane and Io Sky. Have them have great matches with Jay Cargill and Bianca. Have them consistently putting out bangers, 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 and bangers, but winning every time, coming out with a dub every time. I'm telling you, that will build more momentum than anything. Because right now, those tag titles flip hands so often that they lose steam. And if they do stay with somebody, they're staying with a team that usually can't wrestle or don't have a look or barely even look like a tag team. Where in this case, Unholy Union is a tag team. Like you saw in their interference in that tag match. With EO and Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks, like even the way they interfered was in unison. You know what I mean? Even the way they got in there and got busy wasn't. They had chemistry. So like, I just think this is the opportunity. If the opportunity to make those tag titles serious, one last shot. I'm doing Unholy Union, and I'm giving them a long run. I think Bianca and Jade, that's too powerful. You know what I mean? That's too powerful of a duo. We can't take that title seriously because we know they're gonna win every match. Right? We know who Bianca is. We know who we want Jade to be. Having the titles on them for a long run just doesn't do anything for the titles. It gives them some cool little spots. It's gonna be on pay-per-views every now and again that it probably wouldn't. That's cool. But we don't ever think they're going to lose, so we're never going to be fully interested. Where Unholy Union, I think it's a type of tag team kind of that we have in the men's divisions. You know what I mean? That we're like the actual tag teams. We're excited to see them wrestle, and it's fun to watch their matches. I think it's fun to watch Unholy Union matches. So, and their finisher is great too. So, yeah, I am hoping they keep the tag titles on those two. You got Blair Davenport on their crew now. She fits in perfectly. She's going to be great if they really use her as well for a singles run as far as their little crew. And I'm looking forward to that. But that's my hope is that they really keep those titles on them because they have a chance to be the best ever. To keep it for longevity's sake. But yeah, man, let me know what you think. It's been some really good episodes of Raw and SmackDown lately. I do want to last thing I want to talk about Rhea and another match we got confirmed for Bash in Berlin. We got Rhea and Damian Priest versus Dom and Liv. That was a great way to start Raw this past week. We're building a lot of momentum. The drama's there. All of it's there. The breakup of the Judgment Day is part of it. Ben Balor's part of it. All of it. This whole Judgment Day, imploding storyline is great. It's wonderful. I'm excited for it. I'm glad we got a confirmed match for Bash in Berlin. I'm going to be excited to see, Dom and Liv as a tag team, just this intergender tag team. Haven't had a match like that. As far as magnitude, we haven't had one of those in a while. That's fun. And I think we'll get some real on Dom violence, which will be cool. You know what I mean? Everybody that'll get a big pop from the crowd. Rhea hitting a riptide on Dom, that get a big pop. So shout out to them. They're doing a great job. They're holding it down on Monday nights. Like the Judgment Day, people try to hate it on Judgment Day. they were a bloodline, diet bloodline, or you know what I mean. They weren't as good as the bloodline, but dude, they've held it down for like 2 to 3 years now and have done a great job molding, changing when they were with Edge, then when it was just Finn, Damian, and Rhea, then adding other members to it, adding Dom later on, and like they are adjusting really well, and they've treated Judgment Day really well. And it's kind of sad to see it break up low key because I love Rhea Ripley. I've been a fan of since the the women's tournament in NXT when she was a rookie. I was a fan, right? And so she killed it at NXT, but when she got to the main roster, it felt like they didn't know what to do with her, and it was just frustrating that they kept pushing her away and like ascending uh, Bianca, but sort of pushing Rhea to the side and putting her in weird tag teams, and you know. But now, as soon as she got in the Judgment Day, she shot to the roof. She became literally one of the biggest stars in the company. So for me, it's like, damn, like to see one of my favorite wrestlers go be a part of a thing, and that thing helps her become recognized the way she should have always been, and then now she's no longer a part of that thing. It's kind of like, damn, that's kind of sad. You know what I mean? But Rhea is a superstar. She doesn't need any other faction now. As a matter of fact, she can be the leader of the faction of any faction now. So looking forward to this. It's sad. I thought her and Judgment Day's work is legendary stuff. So but I am interested in the outcome of this, and the rest of the Judgment Day is going to get involved and all that. So it'll be wild shenanigans, but it's exciting to look forward to. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything going down right now in the WWE, and hit me up on social media. Hit me up on our Facebook um, group page. Hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, whichever. Let me know your thoughts. But until then, we out. Yep.